Hello, my name's Tom. Welcome to Psych Club. Change your reality one belief at a time. Change your reality one belief process at a time. I help clients with emotional traumas, stress, maybe some mental health issues, help clear up some of that emotional baggage that we all have, and also on the positive side, help you with your goals and with your aspirations, with your beliefs. So anyone interested in that, just get in touch. Happy to talk to you more about that. But I wanted to talk about the psyche right now of the time we're living in. So today is May the 21st of 2020, the year of 2020, the year of clear vision, the Great Awakening. We all know what we're living in right now, and there's many thoughts and theories and emotions that we're all experiencing in regards to this. But I just wanted to, I guess, offer a message of encouragement and of hope. During this time, it's been for me personally, it's been a really positive experience. And the reason for that is I've been able to look and see things and observe things physically, but also from I guess an emotional and spiritual level, and also research. The people I'm going to talk about, I've always been a fan of, and I've had some small interactions with in the past, not directly, but through members of their family. But I basically wanted to share some things that I've been learning. And if it helps you understand a little bit more about this big puzzle going on in the world right now, I hope it's of value to you. These are things that I've been sharing with family and close friends, but I've felt, I've been thinking about it for a while, but I thought, well, actually, let's start putting some messages out. So one thing that came to mind was I've been watching the briefings in the US each day, and President Trump, POTUS, the Don, has been addressing America, but also the world. He's been keeping us well informed, and I understand that he can split people's opinions, but I, for myself, have always been a fan, and I might get a lot of flack for that, but I really don't mind. I had the chance to invite him to a fundraiser in New York, actually, back in 2015, and I got a very polite and professional response from his office. That him and his son Don Jr. were actually in Scotland at the time. I was going to a fundraiser in New York. This was about 3 weeks before he ran for president, and but I got a really quick professional response. And anyone that has tried to get in touch with certain people over time will kind of maybe have some experience and understanding of that. Sometimes people get straight back to you, and sometimes people don't. So that was always a good sign. I also had the privilege to watch Donald back then, as he would have been known, back in, when was it, 2012 or 2013? He came to the London Docklands, came to the Excel Centre where the Nightingale Hospital has been put up. He came and did a speech, came and did a presentation. There were people like Tony Robbins and a few others, but he was the last one to speak. And I specifically came to watch him speak. And I waited all day actually and pretty much most of the morning into the night to watch him, because it wasn't clear when he would be on. I didn't want to, if he was the first speaker, I didn't want to miss him, because I didn't live in London at that time. But I came along and listened to him, and he just was telling the truth, and he was even a bit controversial about all the other gurus other than Tony Robbins that were there. That were kind of just, they weren't really gurus, they were just selling you product, and he just called a spade and said exactly what it was. But going back to the reference of 2015, I got a polite response. He wasn't able to attend because he was actually doing the ribbon cutting of his golf course in Scotland at that time, that week. But I had my fundraiser. It was a football fundraiser, because my background is in soccer, in English football here. But the next day I was in New York, I was in Manhattan, and anyone that knows Manhattan, just on the corner of Central Park, there's the Apple store. It's like a kind of dome in the middle of the street, just on the plaza on the corner, just down the road or up the road from Trump Tower. And also I think there's another Trump building. I could have got the names of the streets wrong. 27th, I think it was 27th, but literally just in front of me was the corner, bottom southeast corner of Central Park, and just on 5th Avenue, so just down the road was Trump Tower. And this was about 3 weeks before he announced he was going for president. And I bumped into his daughter, Ivanka. Got a picture with her. I might be able to upload that at some point. And she was very gracious. I only spoke with her for a few seconds. But I said that I'd contacted her father's office and he wasn't able to attend. But I just was very impressed by their amenability to the public and to people. My response, my brief interactions with his office and with her was just really first class. And I've always been a fan of his, and I've read some of his books, or parts of his books, and I've always liked him, and that's just my take. But I've just been, as time has gone on, particularly during this episode, this crisis in the world, I've just been really impressed with his leadership and his mental fortitude. And I've always been one that has noticed when somebody gets a disproportionate amount of flack, that's always a sign to me that there's something behind that. Going into the football realm, years ago when David Beckham famously got sent off in the World Cup in '98 against Argentina. All right, he made a mistake, but we're all human. But the vitriol that he got after that was just incredible. And I always remember people, even friends and people kind of slagging him off for that. And I just it was just a mistake, He didn't intentionally plan to do that. That was just a reaction. And but the disproportionate amount of flack he got, I believe, was because he was a special player. And you can see his career, how it's gone on. But particularly when he was in his golden age, when he was playing, he was iconic. But people wanted to kick him and stick the boot in, literally. Then there were other players, that did things that were probably just as harmful to the team's results later in other tournaments, but they didn't get as much flack. But the big ones, the ones that really have something about them, always get a disproportionate amount of flack. And I've noticed that it's like another one, Torres at Chelsea. He was bought for a lot of money, great player, won the European Championship twice, won the World Cup once, won the Champions League once. Actually scored about 37, maybe 39 goals in the end for Chelsea. But everyone remembers him as not scoring for Chelsea. But because he was a special player like Beckham, the amount of disproportionate flack was obvious and unfair and unwarranted. But he, like Beckham, was a special person. Trump is the same. He's a special person, and I've been really impressed with his leadership. He's there every day, telling people what's going on, leading from the front, and that pit of vipers of the mainstream media just go for him. Most of them do. There's one or two in the room that are kind of with him, but most would just ask disingenuous questions and waste people's time. Really, waste people's time. He's already come out with a cure, something that will treat it in terms of hydroxychloroquine, and that doesn't fit the narrative. That doesn't fit the narrative of what's going on. But some important things that I've noticed, each day I get a pearl of wisdom. Sometimes I get a whole bag of pearls of wisdom from him. And because of the narrative, because of the way it's set up, because he's fighting a mainstream media that is pretty much 100% opposed to him, and leading us out of this silent war, really, that's going on. He's talking to people, those that want to listen. He's talking to them in code. He's giving hints. He's giving reassurance to people. And I just wanted to share with you some of the things that I've seen, some of the things that I've learned, and some of the things I've gathered and gleaned from him. And his press conference on the weekend was the 15th of May. and I think it was it a Friday or a Saturday? I can't remember now. But a friend of mine in America, Chad, we talk a lot. He just mentioned about the press conference. And it was one that I actually didn't get to see, so I watched it the next day. And it was all about the Space Force program. And some really interesting things about that. The actual details I don't know much about other than what he's shared with us. And also the other thing about it is when he is talking to the American public, he's talking to the world. I have a friend in Russia that shares with me. She's an anchor for one of the TV stations there, and she says that President Putin will address Russia probably once a week, but he'll have pretty much daily briefings, cabinet meetings, and that's and that's talking as well. Obviously, I don't well, not obviously, but I don't speak Russian, so I don't know and I don't watch those. But I'd love to see an English translation of that. So if anyone's got that, please put it forward. So I tune into what Trump says each day, and this one on the weekend about Space Force was really interesting. He started off talking about how they've got a lot of things in spades, and as soon as he said spades, I thought of the Ace of Spades, and I looked it up, and the Ace of Spades is the top card. It's the trump card. It's the spiritual card. It's the most spiritual card in the deck. And if you're playing poker, if you're playing, I guess, a number of games, but if you're playing a World Series poker, effectively trying to defeat a hidden enemy, then you're not going to be able to say things directly outright, but you're going to be able to give clues to those that are following, to reassure the public, to reassure the people. He then talked a lot about this missile that they're creating. What that is, I don't know. Maybe they already have it and he's letting us know. But he talked about it being 17 times quicker than previous. And he kept talking about the number 17. And I've been very aware of 17. And the reason for that is 17 is a powerful number, but it's the 17th letter of the alphabet, which is Q. So hang on, I don't know if I can do that right. So it's the letter Q. And those that are understanding maybe some of the things I'm saying, there's a following out online called QAnon. So it's believed to be that Q are drops of intel, military intelligence, close to POTUS, and sharing information. Some of it is disinformation, and they've admitted that because you can't, if you're playing poker, you can't tell everybody everything because you obviously don't want your enemy to know everything. So some of it seems to be riddles, but a lot of it's not, and a lot of it can be deciphered if you've got intent, if you can get past the nonsense, the mainstream media. I don't listen to anything. I naturally haven't done for a long time. I pick things up online, etc., but I don't listen to the scaremongering, and I think that's a dangerous thing, personally. So he talked about the number 17. He kept saying that, and I was like, okay. So this is a clue for those that are aware of Q, those that want to listen. He also, the lady that was there, she said this is an important day, and this is an important month. So there's a lot of things going on right now that behind the scenes that we're not always privy to. We maybe get glimpses of it. And again, with all of this, I would suggest people just do their own research. There was also something that the general said, and I'll need to check my notes. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. But then, when President Trump finished, he then went into talking about he holds all the cards. And that made me think, I've thought about this before, but he's basically declaring it. He says, I hold all the cards. Effectively, he's always had all the cards. And you think of the game Top Trumps, the trump card, the Ace of Spades. He said he knows what the American people want. And when I hear him say American people, because I've got family and loved ones and friends that live in America, and he's also talking to the world. He's leading the alliance. He's leading from the front. All those that have pure intent and want to see victory over this hidden enemy, he's leading from the front. So when he talks about America, simultaneously he's also talking about the world. And actually he said that as well. He said this Space Force, and I think one of the generals might have said this. That's it. One of the generals did say, he said this is good for America and this is good for the world. One of the other generals or officers there was talked about President Trump asked him to explain, because what it was a ceremony to unveil the Space Force flag. And the Space Force flag had this delta sign, very much like the Star Trek symbol, the kind of arrow was pointing upwards, and he said there's the North Star, it's like our true values. But he said and he explained delta. Delta is the fourth letter of the Greek alphabet, and it's also a letter of compassion, of forgiveness, of transition, of change. And President Trump has talked about this great transition. I believe there's a lot of transitions that are happening in terms of we're going from the darkness into light. A lot of things that are going to come to the surface. They're already coming to the surface, but the world as a mass is going to understand that we've been in darkness for a long, long time. Hence all the inequality and corruption that has been taking place in the world, and all of that is literally being rooted out of the earth right now, and has been. Not just in America but across the world, and something I'm personally very grateful to know and understand that. But the delta letter, the symbol, is a transition. It's empathetic. It's forgiving of people. So that made me think of, if anyone knows about this, some out there listening will know things such as Jasara and Nasara, the Jubilee, the forgiveness of debts. The forgiveness of all kinds of debts is forgiving all of us. We have to forgive each other of all things that we've done. Take responsibility to move from darkness into light, and that's literally being done from the front with President Trump being Commander-in-Chief, leading effectively the world, and obviously and closely with President Putin doing what he's doing, and others. But Trump is the figurehead for this change. That's why he's getting so much flack. That's why they're tearing at him. But he's getting help from higher up, and he can't. He holds all the cards, like he said. So it made me think of all those things, and I think it's just a positive message, particularly in this time, because I know people. We all have our own realities, and we all have our own beliefs and things. And I know a lot of people are still scared and fearful. And I just wanted to express to people. Not to be. Be alert, be aware, but really it's a great and glorious time. The sun is shining. If you're able to get out, get fresh air. We've been told we can do that, that it's effectively safe to do so. So let's do that. I've been privileged to be able to do that every day since all this has happened, and I've just seen and witnessed many great things. People are changing, people are kind. Humanity is a kind entity, an organism, a kind group of people. There's been a small percentage that are nasty bastards, and that's coming to an end. And I'm personally very grateful for that, and I'm grateful to those that are changing that, in terms of POTUS, other world leaders, and the military that are cleaning everything up for us, for the goodness and benefit of humankind. So those that you might know that are feeling stressed, help them. If you're able to share with them wisdom and maybe shine a light on some of these things, it will help them understand and transition into this next energy, this next dimension. Well, I wanted to give a shout out to a few people as well that I've been studying recently. Aaron Doughty, Naira Noura, 3D-5D consciousness, and recently Sasha Stone as well. He's an activist and is very knowledgeable on all of these things. So yeah, thanks for your study and research and your courage, guys. Thanks to President Trump. thanks to all the other good leaders out there helping this come to pass. But the message is, things are going to be okay, guys. We're going to be good. We've got a great future ahead of us, a really great future. If you look at things about Nassar and Jassara, it talks about wonderful technologies, wonderful Tesla technologies, free energy, anti-gravity. President Trump spoke a couple of days ago when he had his cabinet meeting. One of the ladies is the head of transport, and he just said, see, this is the thing. He's having to feed things out just in kind of common talk and not kind of shout from the rooftops about it, but people that want to listen and hear what he's actually saying. Some of the things, you actually have to take him at his word. And one of the things he said, you can't believe some of the transport, the technologies that we've got. There's videos out online of can't remember the names of them, but rails that can go kind of like a bit like Elon Musk's hyperlink. Some of that technology already exists. Anti-gravity, all these great things, this is over 6,000 patents from Nikola Tesla, not from Elon, but from Nikola Tesla, that has been kept back. All those things are starting to come out. They're going to be released. They're going to be used for the benefit of mankind. I don't think any of us really can fathom how glorious the future is going to be. Why do we dream? Why do we dream about wonderful things? Why do we dream about flying? Why do we dream about alternate realities, happy realities? Why do we dream? Why do we have that capacity? It shows us that we do have that capacity, but we've been spellbound in a nefarious way that has kept us locked into a paradigm of low three-dimensional vibration and reality. That's changing now. Nothing's going to stop what's coming. Whether you are religious and you want to think it the second coming, or the Christ consciousness, the return of Christ consciousness, the age of Aquarius, peace on earth for 1,000 years, millennium, new age, new world. Not New World Order per se, or not the nefarious side of it. Whichever way you want to look at it, the world is changing. Who'd have ever thought, who'd have ever predicted this, what we're in right now, or what we're going through right now? But there's so many great and wonderful things, I believe, to come to pass through all of this. There's going to be a lot of clearing up, a lot of things we're going to, a lot of people are going to be stressed and traumatized for the things that we're going through. So if we've got the capacity to help, to do energy work with people, to offer encouragement, to decipher things, share knowledge, point things out to people, and we're all doing it at our own pace. We're all waking up at a different rate. So when people maybe push back against it, that's okay. That's all right. We just have charity and love towards them, and just be there. And people will come and seek truth and advice and knowledge and comfort from those that are maybe a little bit further down the line of inquiry and investigation. So I just wanted to share those things with you. I'm discovering new things every day, so I'll hope to in the future to share more videos with you. And please feel free to share the comments, like it, share it if it's of interest to you. And if you've got insight, please share those with me. I really just want to know as much truth as possible, and I don't mind where it comes from, and however bitter or sweet the truth is. I just want to know. So if you feel a resonance with me on that, then get in touch. But I'm going to go out now. I'm going to get on a Boris bike and I'm going to cycle around London. I'm going to see the glorious parks, and those of you that are in London will know and feel that there's just a great vibe. There's a great energy right now. The sun is shining. I witnessed a rainbow a couple of evenings ago. The sun was coming down. I was in Regent's Park, and it was like a sun corona, like a rainbow. The sun was very bright. It was coming down. It was low, and I could see this corona. I pointed it out to a couple of people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, they could see it." And so it had a kind of wonderful halo, and you saw two sides of the rainbow. either side of this great arc, the corona, ironically, a corona rainbow. The rainbow's coming back. NHS rainbow in some biblical texts talk about in the last days the rainbow will come back. If you're that way inclined, I was brought up in a kind of religion when I was younger. I don't really follow that now, but I do try to seek truth wherever I can find it. So even if the message is not everything you agree with, or the messenger is not, or the format, if there's pieces of truth, grab onto them. We've all got truth, and we can all share it with each other. Thanks for listening, everyone. Have a fantastic day. The future is really, I think, fantastic for every single one of us here on planet Earth, and I'm so excited to be here with the changes that are taking place, and maybe we'll get to meet in person sometime. Thanks for listening. Cheers, guys. Speak soon. Bye.